Hey everyone, Attorney Davis Younts here. Listen, I wanted to provide a quick update in some of the trends we're seeing in urinalysis cases in the military. As you know, a big part of what we do at the Military Council is defend military members who are under investigation or facing court-martial charges related to positive urinalysis tests. Now, please understand that when we talk about urinalysis tests in the military, what a test cannot do is demonstrate or prove intent, and the military drug testing program cannot rule out scenarios where individual military members are unknowingly or innocently exposed to some sort of prohibited substance that the military tests for. And that sets aside errors at the lab. So I just want to talk about a couple things in these cases. First of all, if you are a military member that has urine that's reportedly testing positive for a controlled substance, the first thing that's going to happen in the case is you're likely to be ambushed. And what I mean by that is you're likely to be brought into security forces, the MPs, NCIS, CID, or OSI, and they're going to start by questioning you, and they're not even going to give you any information or background. They're going to ambush you. You're not going to know why you're there or what the purpose is. And they're going to start asking you questions about what you did, and they're going to assume guilt in that investigative process. So that's just understand that's how this kicks off. You won't even know that your urine is tested positive until you're sitting in there being interrogated by military law enforcement. And the problem with that is, and I've seen this over and over again in my career, both as a prosecutor and as a defense attorney, that things that are said in that initial statement can be taken out of context. They can be misconstrued. And there can be this idea, and I just saw this happen in a case where someone who's trying to be transparent as an NCO, they're trying to be very transparent when they're talking to law enforcement. Law enforcement's asking them for hypotheticals. How do you think this got in your system? How could you have been exposed to this? And they came up with a couple scenarios. They have no idea. They're not a trained forensic scientist. They have no idea. They're not a forensic toxicologist. They don't know how they could have been exposed to drugs, but they'll throw out some hypotheticals. And then if the military can quickly discount those hypotheticals or say that's not possible, then they try to make it seem in the investigation like that service member is lying. They weren't lying. They were just trying to be sincere and answering hypothetical questions. So I say that to say, if you are a military member that's brought in and you start being questioned about a positive drug test, it is almost always in your best interest to consult with an attorney first before answering any of those questions, because anything you say can be misconstrued, even if you are innocent. If you do not make a statement, you are in a much better position to survive, save your career, and get through this than if you make a statement that could be misconstrued, taken out of context, or could be used against you later. So just keep that in mind. The other thing I want to keep in mind, that's really important to keep in mind in these drug cases, is we are having a huge problem in this nation dealing with supplements and with just the proliferation of states that have legalized things like CBD as well as medicinal marijuana or recreational marijuana. What that does is it creates a critical change in the market. It creates a critical change in the availability of these products. And so you have this issue with things that are marketed to the general public. Sometimes it's sleep aids, sometimes it's other things, but they're marketed in such a way where the public doesn't know, a military member doesn't know that they're being exposed to a prohibited substance in the military. And they don't know that they're putting their career on the line, that they could be facing administrative separation or court martial because they're using some supplement that isn't clearly advertised as containing some sort of drug product derivative. Now, we've seen this. We saw an issue with Army bases in Washington State that had a product at the GNC on base that was causing positive drug test results. We see it a lot now with the different types of THC that comes from marijuana, from the hemp. You see you have THC Delta 8 and THC Delta 9. THC Delta 9 is the product that comes typically from vaping or smoking actual marijuana. THC Delta 8 comes from hemp products, which are there's differences there. Military tests for both of them, and use of either one of those can cause a positive test result. But the problem that you're seeing as well is that when detailed studies are done on supplements and products, there is an issue with adulteration. So they're seeing as much as 24% of products that are out there on the market, whether they're marketed as containing no CBD or no THC or not, you're in a scenario where many of these products actually do contain enough, and they contain enough on a level that would cause a military member to test positive on a drug test. So listen, I'm putting this out there for our awareness. It is becoming increasingly difficult for military members to avoid products that contain hemp oils, CBD, THC, or just other derivatives, closely associated synthetics and other things to other drugs. And again, all of these things could cause a positive drug test. So because you can't avoid it, what is important for a military member to know, or if you're a loved one, if you're married to a military member, something else, one of these folks is, if they do test positive, if their urine does test positive for a controlled substance, they need to know and understand there's a lot of work that has to be done to preserve their career, because at the end of the day, the presumption of innocence kind of goes out the window, and they're going to have to work to stay in the military. The presumption is they're going to be gone from the military, even if it was innocent, even if it was a mistake, even if they had no idea they were exposed to this product. Military members need to know that. So my encouragement, as always, if you're a military member, a military member who is notified of a positive drug test or thinks they might have been exposed to something, consult with an attorney before you talk to the chain of command. Consult with an attorney that knows what they're doing, that's handled these cases, before you talk to law enforcement. Because if you don't, your situation is only going to get worse. And listen, we're going to be in a battle to fight to save your livelihood, your career, potentially your freedom in these cases. So please keep that in mind. Please stay alert. Please look at those labels, and just know, as more states legalize marijuana, as more supplements and other products become available that are derivatives or synthetics from controlled substances, this is going to continue to be an issue. Hey, thanks for watching. Please feel free to follow our YouTube channel. I'm Davis Younts on X. Check me out. Follow me there for more information about the military justice process. Thanks for watching. Take care.